Hey everyone, Wanderbot. You know what? I'm keeping it. Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to some more Slormancer. It's been a couple of years since I last played this, and I figured, yeah, why not? Let's actually load it up and play a couple of levels. Just see how far along it's come. Because this is, I guess, back before it actually came out. It was one of my top most anticipated hack and slash action RPGs on the market. You know, it's kind of nice to check in every once in a while. Especially because, you know, I see a lot of other people playing the Diablo 4 beta, which, yeah, I'm going to wait until they get a change in management before I think I'd pick that franchise back up again. Even if it's good, just, nah. Plus, honestly, like, the indie game scene usually kind of has my back. So if I don't want to play that game, well, boy, I have so many others to play. Admittedly, I think this one's kind of, I don't want to say in development hell, but it's been a little while and it's taken some time for it to actually really develop further. And so I saw like a lot of negative reviews on the Steam page starting to pop up being like, they're taking too long. Which, you know, I can see that. I don't know. I think it kind of depends on what you're looking for. I'm patient. I really don't even care anymore if a game takes 7 years to be finished, like, okay, maybe that's a little too long and probably could have been faster. In my opinion, games that kind of move a lot faster than that tend to be better. And if a game that takes 7 years to finish, games that take 7 years to finish are either like your first project, at which point there's a lot of learning involved, or there's like way too much scope creep, and that's a bit of an issue. So if you haven't seen this game before, I should probably intro that before I just get on a ramble, because this is absolutely that kind of game. Slormancer is a hack and slash action RPG. I think it only has 3, maybe 4 classes available in it. Your archer, your warrior, and your mage, which, I mean, if you ever played OG Diablo, that's pretty much the same selection you got. The way it works is, I mean, pretty standard. You go into either randomly generated dungeons or pre-made ones. So this is a pre-made story dungeon. So I'm in the prisons, which have been overrun with the undead. I forget the actual plot for this game. I'll care more about that when it's actually done. For now, I'm just having fun, just using Spreadshot to just rip through a bunch of... Oh, there's money on that table. Good to know. I'm just enjoying ripping through whole hosts of skeletons, ghosts, and other things, which more or less is what this game is. You know, I should probably actually take a quick look at some character customization just to show that off, just to give kind of a bit of a preview. It's weird when I'm going back to a game that I actually know about and have played kind of extensively. I did like a mini-series on this a while ago, and had a lot of fun with it. But it means that I don't have that, like, strong first impression feel, or that roguelike level of, like, okay, let's just focus on the game. Because I find hack and slash action RPGs are really nice for just kicking back and just chatting for a while. There's just something really chill about them that you can kind of largely turn your brain off and just do. Which, you know, I can see a lot of people piecing out on that kind of thing. I think as I've gotten older, I've lost a little bit of interest in it, but at the same time, it's just fun to rip through like a horde of enemy or 3. A horde of enemies or 3. It's part of the reason why I like the bullet heaven genre so much. Oh, I'm just stuck here for a while, aren't I? That's a problem. Please let me leave. There must be a modifier that's adding frost blasts to this dungeon. I don't entirely know the full extent of the hows or whys. Please, sir. Can you stop? I would like to actually be in this room and fighting. I should probably actually start summoning some of my traps. Not that they're nearly as effective as me just going to town with Spreadshot. But they're still helpful. Especially if I'm fighting specific, like, nasty enemies that I have to worry about in any way, shape, or form. It's interesting how much the landscape of this... I don't want to say the genre has, like, changed over the last couple of years. Because I don't think that it's changed so much as it's... Well, I don't know. Like, back when this came out, or when I first was playing this, I think my, I think Torchlight 3 had either just come out, or wasn't quite out yet. Because that was, like, just in the early days of me joining Wholesome Verse. If I want to date this, or date things a little bit, or try and kind of reconstruct, the passage of time, and where this game stood. And I'm pretty sure this was... I think I maybe played the demo before I started to hang out with those guys, and then played this or something like that. It's somewhere in there. It's been a couple of years since I last played this, and yeah, my sense of time is super scuffed, mostly because of COVID and whatnot. But I remember, like, Torchlight 3 was still kind of... I don't think it was done, at the very least. And it might not have even come out in early access, so that was still kind of a thing that was maybe going to be good. It wasn't. It was okay. And, like, I'd actually very much like to go back and play that game someday. I gotta figure out how to get, item descriptions back. Let's just get some turrets down. Oh, they got a long cooldown. Maybe not. My character is very good at clearing groups and pretty piss poor at clearing singular bosses. It's not terrible, but could be a lot better. But, like, I think Torchlight 3 was still very much, like, a thing that might have been good. And Torchlight Frontiers, which was, like, the kind of pseudo-MMO-y version, that wasn't even out yet, I don't think. And isn't it called, like, Torchlight Infinite now? I think it is. But the, you know, that was barely even a thing that most people didn't even care about or know about. Let's see. Diablo 4 was still vaporware, and now we actually have a beta for it. I think Last Epoch had come out, or is, like, about to come out as well. And I could be wrong. I'm just all of a sudden very obsessed with, like, trying to put together the timeline for hack and slash action RPGs. Geez, what else is there? There was that absolutely boneheaded Magic of the Gathering kind of pseudo MMO in this genre that came and went, I think, in a month. It might have lasted a little longer than that. That was a game that had probably some of the shortest shelf life I think I've ever seen, outside of, like, a handful of incredibly bad battle royales that kind of came and went almost instantly. I don't even remember when that was. Was that like 2019, 2020? Whenever, like, the battle royale craze came and went, it was incredibly fast, and it always has thrown me off a little bit. Okay, how do I get the items to show up again? Okay, display loot names, pick up materials. That's useful. Hide gathered slorm, click to move. No, I think we're good. Okay, so now I can actually see loot names again. I don't think I turned that off, so it must have been a hotkey that I will, I'm sure, find at a later date and be like, oh, so that's what I did wrong. Oh, well. Oh, right, I was going to show off some character customization. Do we even have any that I can invest at the moment? Or, right, I pay Slorm into this. So it's level locked, but then I just pay effectively an EXP currency. Okay, I don't even want to read half of these. What I want to look at is light arrows have a higher pierce chance. I've played a little bit more. Extra max life for every totem under your control. That's interesting. Daggers apply poison. No, that's stab. Oh, I guess I should probably consider equipping some other spells here. Something that would be really good at wrecking single targets would actually be not a bad idea. Because, yeah, where's the daggers? Oh, what's this? Whenever you kill an enemy, you have a chance to create a light ballista at his position. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Extra elemental damage. Traps take less time to arm. Enemies are pulled toward triggered ravenous daggers. But where are the ravenous daggers? Where do they come from? I'm trying to figure this one out, actually. Because, yeah, ravenous daggers apply poison, but where are they coming from? Because ravenous daggers seems to be like a mechanic that I don't have? Huh. I don't know. I guess I'm going to be kind of confused by it. I've mostly been focusing on my arrow shot because it's nice and easy. Oh. Oh, we also have Architect of Death, Sharpshooter, and Mistwalker. Key mechanics. Oh, Ravenous Dagger. Okay, I don't think I've figured it out, but that's fine. So, now I've switched. So I've got this, poison gas. So instead of having the turrets, I can go invisible. This build is supposed to do a little bit more poison. I don't actually know if that's better. My problem with stuff like turrets is as good as they are, they don't come with you. Unless you have like some kind of perk that makes them come with you, and that's few and far between. There we go, so I can actually just sneak in here. I don't actually think it's particularly good. I also gotta look into like the Ravenous Dagger, and there's a couple of mechanics that I'm still puzzling out here. But yeah, that explosive arrow also seems like it might be pretty good, but I gotta work my way through it. Oops. That's fine. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, what I really need to do is figure out how to poison enemies, ideally with my arrows, because that'll give me even more single target damage, especially against bosses or mid bosses, which are kind of the ruder dudes that I have to deal with. Okay, if I fire those. Yeah, because I should be using more of my skills more often. Though, I mean, realistically, if I can max out my regular arrow shot, then I can just switch over to leveling everything. Because this game has multiple layers of character progression. There's gear leveling, there's weapon leveling, there's skill leveling. Well, gear doesn't level up. Sorry, you just get new gear along the way here. But your weapon will level up. So that's the level of gear leveling that this game has. Honestly, I think it'd be kind of cool if all equipment leveled up. Randomly, you know, random loot is kind of fun, but it's very much something that was way more interesting, I think, back in the 2000s. Nowadays, I think I'm a little bit more ho-hum about it, just because I don't... Oh, hello. Got this dude. Thank you for your help. I can get back to the village on my own. Come and see me when you get back. I mean, I could do that, but I'm probably gonna forget. Well, I set him on fire at the very least. I think that's probably from the rune. Hello, sir. Yeah, the fire is okay. It's not particularly good, but it's there. Now I'm immediately going back to, like, what other hack and slash action RPGs had just come out. I think Wolcen had come out and was kind of disappointing, but of course, I forgot. I need to do a video on Wolcen, probably. See what's changed on that one, because supposedly they just put out the epilogue, the final chapter the other day. And so that's probably something I should care about, considering I actually did get to the end of the campaign mode when it hit 1.0, which honestly I'm not entirely sure if that was really the 1.0, considering it was in a really rough state at the time. But I should probably go back and take a look at that one just because. And I guess we have an exit here for reasons. Cool. Now I'm frozen. Sorry, I would like to leave. There's no indication that that's the end. It's just cool. Bye. Well, got another villager back in town. I really guess I should probably interact with some of these. Oh. I think I bugged the game. Oh, no, there we go. I just had to do that. Because, yeah, we've got a bunch of characters that I'm finding from the prison. Okay, so this guy can unlock Reforge Equipment tab. Oh, I have to buy these things? Salvage Equipment, Merge Fragments, and then Filter Equipment. So we can also sell stuff if we want to. I do actually have enough money to maybe do some of these things. I'm just not sure how much I care at the moment. So much of this stuff feels like it would be more important once I've actually hit the end. Right now I've got too much loot just... Oh. Okay. Wait, there's the Ancestral Legacy. Hold up. So he lets me... Oh, I had forgotten about this. Okay. Yeah, so this is what it is. Raw damage, mana regen. How much of this do I have? Or... Oh, I can invest more Slorm. into these, then I have 2 ancestral stones that I've unlocked so far. Oh gosh, yeah, I'd forgotten about all of these bits. Extra raw damage and crit strike for the next 7 seconds. Oh, but that's a active skill. I think I prefer passives more than anything else. Let's see, attack speed, armor penetration, and elemental damage is nice, but such a small bonus. And yeah, you can go really far on this one. Though if I only have so many ancestral stones, I don't really know how I get access to like half of these. Did I actually have a point in this one? Because this one gives me Gold Find and Slormite Find. This one gives me raw damage, damage to elites, and mana regen. Which is, like, actually kind of good. Like I said, there's multiple layers of progression here, and it gets pretty nutty. The only problem is parsing it all. Yeah. I'm probably just going to invest in this one and just hold on to it. I'll have to figure out which of these is actually going to be useful for me. Oh, Trail of Fire. Burning enemies behind me. That's not terrible. Okay. You know what? I could keep talking to characters, but I'm only going to talk to an NPC or 2 every time I come back to town, because, once again, it doesn't really matter to me, at least for a little while. So what else do we have? So Fury's Evasion Crit Chance, Melee Recast. That's interesting. Determination is Elemental Oh, so this would give me a little bit of mana regen, which might not be a bad idea. Let's see. So what are these unique nodes? Whenever you deal crit damage, you have +1 life on hit. Ooh. Plus extra for every point after this trait. That's kind of good. 20% extra damage to elites for every elite within a radius. Whenever you're dealt damage, you have 3% damage reduction for the next 10 seconds. I've been pretty much exclusively just going down the raw damage tree. I think mostly because I got to this point and I was like, yeah, that's maybe worth it. Because savagery isn't that good. Toughness is just durability. Zeal is for mana, oh, it does give extra mana on hit, which is kind of good. Oh, and you can actually just preview every single thing you can get on this one. Cost of skills reduced by 1% for each skill cast in 10 seconds. Yeah, a lot of these I'm probably not going to benefit from too much. But some might be worth it. Like, dexterity, maybe? Projectile speed, pierce chance. Yeah, some of these actually would be pretty good. And then this is movement and luck. If I want to grab it too. I think I'm just gonna honestly go back to just investing non-stop into damage. I feel like I'm woefully underleveled. Like, whatever the max level for this game is gotta be. It's gotta be high. And I just, have barely scratched the surface. Which I think is actually part of the reason why people like these games. For me, I usually just play until I'm done with the plot. That's the return of Oh My God and the release of the prisoners. Both wings of the prison have been under direct control of rival gangs of ex-prisoners. From what I understood while sneaking into the prison, that a group of skeletons with an explosive temper has claimed control of the West Wing. They're known as the Old Bones. We're gonna have to go through their territory to get to the next area, which is where one of the levers is located. I forget why we need the levers, but it doesn't really matter. I also totally forgot that the main villain is just called Oh My God. But you know what? Why not? It's kind of funny. Okay, these guys... Wait, are they wearing tables? What's going on with the... I don't know. Also, it looks like the special area for this one, instead of the freezing AoEs, we now have kind of explosive ghosts. So if I clear an enemy, I'm going to have to stay away from where they were. That honestly shouldn't be that big of a deal. God, how happy this character is. If I remember right, this character's like specific, unique mechanic is that the more you cast the same skill, the happier they are, like delighted. And then if you switch skills, you start working towards tormented. Which I'm not entirely sure why one would qualify as delighted versus tormented. But so I think you can actually see like on the character's face which state you're in. So my character just has this persistent and manic smile. I could explore some of these side rooms just to fight some more stuff. But honestly, it might just be easier for me to just go all the way, or just... Oh, that's how that works. Okay. It's probably easier for me to just kind of forge on, beat the run, and if I need to do any grinding... No, actually, I'm going the wrong direction. If I need to do any grinding, there are randomly generated dungeons that I can just go explore instead. Which seems like a more practical use for my time. Maybe. I don't know. I've been playing Octopath Traveler on my own after I put out the video the other day. I guess it was just yesterday. I've been playing a lot of Octopath Traveler one way or another. One of the things I really like about that game is you really can just kind of explore the whole map. There's nothing stopping you 90% of the time. So you can just be like, yeah, I want to just go to like the level 45 zone. Well before the plot would ever take me to any of these locations. Why? Because it's kind of fun. I like the challenge, and this way at some point I'm going to go back and do the story, and I'm going to be hilariously overpowered. Yeah, so my explosive arrow gets me a ton of mana back. The only thing I need to do is to get myself like considerably more attack speed. Because boy, that's a little slow. Oops. Dang. I guess this guy just keeps summoning them forever anyway. Let me see. I need like a topic, but I am slightly... I don't want to say out of sorts. Because that's not quite the right word. It's just one of those... Well, I know exactly what's up with me. A little sleepy, a little tired, you know, that's the usual thing. But the weather's doing that frustrating thing for me, at least, where it's cold. Like, it was cold and snowy yesterday. It was actually, like, really pretty. And then today it's, really warm, comparatively. I mean, it's, like, only in the 40s, but even then, a 15 to 20 degree swing like that almost inherently is going to give me some level of a migraine, which is never fun. And so I'm usually slightly catatonic on these days. And also, I guess I go back to kind of what I was talking about. The idea of... I love hack and slash action RPGs. They definitely... I don't want to call them snoozers, because they're not. They don't have a whole lot strictly going on that I feel like I need to talk about. You know, I get into a new room, and say if I'm playing a roguelike, like I can react to what's going on. But when I'm playing these games, it's more of kind of just a platform for me to just talk about whatever. I have kind of the same experience with like incremental games, and I think to some degree that's because they're very similar in practice and actuality. That I play these games specifically not for the let's see, I don't play these games for the experience of the like moment-to-moment combat. I play it instead to grind through loads and loads of mobs to get progressively stronger as I get cooler and cooler loots. Which is, oddly enough, like, very similar to a proper incremental game. You know, I'm thinking like, I don't know. I'm thinking of, well, actually, ironically enough, there was actually a Diablo 2 incremental game called Rakanishu that I played, like, sometime last year. Oh, that barely hurts. I mean, actually, no, if I get hit by too many of those, I'm going to be in trouble. But I thought Rakanishu was really cool. It's not done, and I don't think it'll ever be finished, which is a bit of a downer. But, like, you really could actually turn one of these games into a pure, raw, unfiltered idle game or clicker. I don't actually think it would be that bad. I think you'd lose a little bit of something, but it's one of those where, and maybe I just need to play more of the genre. And yeah, that could involve, you know, actually seeing what Diablo 4 looks like. But, like, oddly enough, how did I describe it? It feels like this genre is kind of hard-locked by its old mechanics. You know, the procedurally generated levels, the point-and-click style movement. Admittedly, I'm actually using WASD here, and as controller controls. but you know, a couple years ago I played Darksiders Genesis, a co-op hack and slash RPG. Not really hack and slash. Yeah, it was an isometric action RPG. Played like a Darksiders game, but looked kind of like a Diablo game. And so a lot of people would show up to my chat being like, you know, why would I play this over Diablo 3? And it's like, because they're completely different games. However, the more people repeated it, the more I realized, like, hey, what if this actually was just, like, turned into a Diablo-like? Like, keep the full kind of pseudo Souls-adjacent... I mean, it's not really Souls-adjacent. But, you know, the blocks, the parries, the dodges, and whatnot. Keep all that stuff. Keep that in. But then give me more of the, Diablo-style, like... Or hack and slash action RPG style. Like randomized loot, or at least extensive loot pools, and like skill customization and stuff. You know, give me those bits. I think I'd actually have a really good time with that. I think the big problem is just balancing that kind of thing becomes really hard, and that most developers simply just don't want to put in that level of effort for their game. Because like the more skills you add, the more you have to make sure that those skills continue to jive and jive well with the overall, like, core gameplay of whatever the game is. And so, you know, if you're blocking and dodging, and you only have just, like, a basic sword swing and, you know, a shield and maybe a dodge roll, you don't really have to worry too much from, like, a design perspective of how those work together. Those can be, I'm not going to say hard-coded in, but they don't change. It's easy to plan around. But if you start messing with stuff like, you know, a much wider variety of weapons that do a wider variety of things, all of a sudden that's a lot of work. Wow, that explosive arrow actually really works. Boy, you know what this character needs? A meteor smell. Black hole plus like a meteor. I'm actually gonna go check the wizard after this just to see. Like, I like this character's hippity hoppity, I'm here to murder everything. Or re-murder everything, considering every enemy is a skeleton. But, like, this archer is here for blood and is very happy to be doing it. But I bet if I had, like, some kind of orb that would pull enemies in, so I can then drop a meteor on them, oh, that'd be tight. I'm assuming that's vaguely the right slang. I'm starting to hit that point where I don't want to say like my terminology for things is kind of baked in, and like I can pick up some of the more modern slang terms for various things. But like I am actually starting to hit that old man phase where it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't really care to change like my language to fit whatever the new lingo is, and it's starting to crystallize in such a way that like somebody will say a word and I'm just like, I'm just going to assume I know what that means. I think, what's the one recently? Let them cook, or let him cook, or something like that. And it makes a lot of sense. Like, that one I can at least follow. I understand where people are trying to... I didn't know these enemies would actually talk. You know, when somebody says, like, let him cook or let them cook, like, very much, oh yeah, I know exactly what someone's trying to say by saying that. But there's a little bit more esoteric ones that I'm suddenly having trouble coming up with off the top of my head. I think it's just because it doesn't linger. That for me, I lacked the proper cultural connotations. I like the proper cultural background for some of the words being used. Sort of a skilled Slormancer. I wonder if he lets me respec my skills or something. Probably. Okay. I really gotta figure out how to get this arrow to specifically do some poison. Because if I could be just stacking loads of damage over time effects onto this guy, I think that would actually be pretty valuable. I've somehow managed to chill them, but it looks to be because I got some kind of chill rune. Okay. Did I get him? I think I did. I'm not actually noticing any fancy loot here, which maybe is a bit of a downer. I was hoping I'd get at least a weapon in this video, but I don't know. We're starting to hit the point where I might not. I mean, I guess I could just show them off. There's a lot of them. Most of them I don't have. Let's see. Oh, that does have a 15% crit chance, which is kind of good. What is my crit chance? 6%, so it could actually be better. I picked this one specifically because Reaper damage is added to elemental damage instead of skill damage. Oh. Yeah, in retrospect, this one's probably not as good as the Bow of the Nimble Warrior. What else do we have? Overdriving Bow. I don't know what Overdrive does. Or is. There's so many things. What is Overdrive? When you hit an enemy with a melee skill. Ah. So this is great if I want to specifically use, like, melee weapons, I think. Ah, so it's like melee splash damage. What else do we have? Bow of the Trainee. Extra EXP gain. So the Bow of Trainee scales off of my damage scaling. That's interesting. And then there's the starting bow, but it's bad. It's bad and we want nothing to do with it. Yeah, I need some more bows. I need a lot of stuff. But, I mean, so much of that boils down to play more game, forehead. Okay, where are we going? I think it's out of here. Yeah, do we wanna switch classes? You know what? Yeah, let's show off the wizard. We have a new character in town, but I'm pretty sure that's just how you respec. Okay, so let's let the mage stretch his legs. Now my my mage is level 4, so that might be more of a problem. Have I found any new staves for them? No, I have not. Well, at the very least, let's take a look at his skills. Because we've got a couple of different ones. The only thing that changes between specialization is your... is your unique skill. So this one on the left. Create a barrier in front of you that catches up to 3 projectiles. Once it ends, caught projectiles are shot back. Interesting. Temporal Clone. Lasts 8 seconds. Disappears after being hit. Does nothing much. It's a shame. And then Wall of Omen. Slows down projectiles. So this guy does have thorns somehow as part of his build. But I think I might want to try this one. Oh, but I have to be level 10 to actually use specializations. Or, like, much of anything, unfortunately. Sure, let's pick a different character just for a little while. And also go here. So this guy lets me do randomly generated battlefields based on difficulty. And maybe my level? So we can also change difficulty. Yeah, hopefully this scales. Goal is to close as many breaches and defeat as many enemies as you want. You can stay there as long as you want and leave any time. No rewards in case of defeat, no penalty in case of defeat. Unlimited floors, leave with 5 breaches or left. Customizable wrath, but I gotta find somebody called Elmarolus to unlock new wrath levels, and catalysts aren't available in the game. Let's see. I think if I played a different character, I'd have different settings here. But yeah, let's just play the wizard. I am dying. Okay, so that heat beam ain't that great. Never mind, it's just not that great against that enemy. I wonder if... Ooh. It's probably better against groups. Okay, so we've got some mastery levels, which is good. Okay, I keep expecting that I'm gonna have better equipment here, but this character is pretty weak. And as far as I remember, there's no healing potion, so I'm very much on my own on this. I'll see if I have any equipment that I can slap on, because that would solve a lot of problems. Ooh, my equipment seems to be, pretty randomized. Whoops. Okay. I was hoping I could maybe try toss items over from one character to the next, but no, we are a fresh boy with nothing on. Okay, let's go for the raw damage. Raw damage. Expanded raw damage. Okay, cool. Well, at the very least, we maybe have some skill stuff we can get. So, Arcane Missiles has a reduced cooldown time, or no cost if you are low on mana. Ooh. Kind of tempting. What else can we get? Now belongs to the Temporal School. I'm curious about what that means. Oh, you get an emblem of that skill School of Magic. Emblems are used by some upgrades to trigger various effects. Okay, time lock some other things. I don't think I really care for this guy to have that. Let's see, how do we... You know what, let's just invest currently into reduced cooldown time. Okay, and then fight some enemies. Cataclysm leaning. Okay, well, that extra damage goes a long way. I know actually can hurt things. I think it's level 5 for me to get the skill points. And hopefully we get a new weapon at some point too. Or not skill points. Is it... That's the Ancestral Legacy. Oh, which we actually do have points for. Not much, and it's expensive. Is it attributes? Here we go. Ah, I put all of my points currently into willpower, which gets me elemental damage, then eventually max mana, a resized damage over time. Okay, those are kind of good. The only one I'd want to maybe consider is some points in Zeal, just for the extra life on hit. Because I am a very killable boy. I might just have to bail out of here before things get too dicey. Okay, well, I'm at least engaged. I actually have to worry about things now. When I was a kid, I always remember loving to take, like, I'd be playing Diablo 2. And I remember very specifically enjoying going out of my way to, like, get as far as I possibly could. And then, like, trying to get the best possible gear at the lowest possible level. So, like, going off to fight Treehead Woodfist as a level 1 barbarian. And then trying to make it work somehow. It kind of works some of the time. Okay. I have to just keep my distance. Gonna take a little bit. Oh boy, this character is a weak fellow. At least his raw damage is good. Yeah, I think we might wanna close some rifts. And then maybe get out of here. Okay, max life. What I'm looking for is, ooh, raw damage and some thorns. But no, I think we need that armor. Okay, we got a skill, and now we have Book Smash, which I think is a melee move. And some other things. So here's the question, can I get a smidge of life regen? Probably not. It's elemental damage. Yeah, because those get me max mana. That gets me elemental damage, but I'm not even sure if I do elemental damage yet. Elemental resistance, evasion. I think we just need the raw damage tree for the time being. Because what else could I even get from one of these? Some crit chance wouldn't be bad. Ooh, that mana regen, though. Let's go back here. I probably have just enough Slorm to get this one. And we're going to equip it instead. We also have Book Smash. Big book on top of the enemy. Book wasn't very good anyway. Cool. Let's see. Can I not equip? Oh. Interesting. I can only equip a couple of these. How do I get... Oh, Ancestral Skill or Aura equipped. Gotcha. So I can only equip 2 skills simultaneously. I was wondering about that. Well, yeah, let's just go for the cheap magic missile for the time being. I think we're in a better spot now. Question. You know, I was expecting this to be a bigger explosion, but... I mean, when in doubt... Drop the book on him. I don't need to care about, a heck of a lot of things this way. I can just drop books from afar. Oh, I like it when my build gets cheesy. The only immediate problem with this build is just that it's boring? A little boring. I mean, credit where credit is due. The book certainly hurts him. It has to have perfect accuracy. It does not have an AoE to it. Oh, he didn't die. Get rid of his shield. Everything else is good. Okay. I definitely appreciate having a character that is a little bit more at the mercy of a difficulty curve, as opposed to somebody that is so powerful that they can just waltz through things without a care in the world. So I was gonna go back to this genre being a little bit stagnant for my taste. It's not like super bad. Ow. Question, can I just do both? Oh yeah, let's just do this. Because if I hold both cursors down, we just huck books. And as long as we're within range, those books have basic homing capacity. Huh. If Magic Missile is free... when I'm below 10% mana... what if I just made it really expensive otherwise? Okay, let's get rid of the other guys. There we go. Do I level up? I do not. I'm so close, though. Let's do a regular non-champion portal. Actually, we probably just have some enemies that I can drop books on. Briefly. Because if I can fight a couple more champs... I'm in a good spot. Okay, so we get some mana regen. Let's see. Skill mastery gain. Some other things. There we go. And we've leveled this up. Because, yeah, to some degree, what I could do is actually invest really hard into attack speed with this. Let's see. Increased aura on hit, mana on hit. Inner fire. Now, which one of these was attack speed? Dexterity? Oh, but that's only a little bit. It's good. But it's not amazing. Okay, so if we go back to skills, we can get a little bit more. Oh, additional damage is equal to 1% of your max mana. That's interesting. Okay, and this still hasn't leveled up yet. So in that case, we don't really need to reduce or increase that threshold anymore. I guess I should take a look at these. Whenever you or an arcane clone casts Magic Missile, chance to cast 2 remnants of arcane missiles. Ooh, that might be good. Cannot gain mana with Arcane Missile anymore. With Mana Leech, mana on hit, mana on kill. Deals extra damage the mana you should gain as elemental damage instead. Ooh, that could be really good. I'll go with this for the time being. And honestly, scaling off of your max mana is just about as good. Maybe. I'm curious about the different build potential here. I think I'm definitely liking the wizard, just in terms of, like, I can immediately tell how his build is supposed to work. I think my only immediate problem with it is going to be... I think I'm just going to have to be inside this debuff zone. I'm actually taking a little bit of damage in here. On the flip side, I think I did fine. Okay, let's just grab the money and continue on. Ow, though. But I could very much see going really hardcore. Oh, am I taking fire damage because I'm stepping on those burning puddles? Probably. I think actually every enemy is working that way. Oh, it's fine. Okay. Let's just not die. I don't actually see an elite here, so I think we're good. Okay, next floor, head home. Let's just go back. I don't need any more than this. I just needed a little bit so that I wasn't going to die. And now we can potentially invest in some better equipment, some better items, and maybe improving my skills a bit more. Yeah, let's do it. The question is, do I want to do more flat damage, or what about the book? Extra damage, increased equal to the number of your completed achievements. Oh, I like that. Ancestral strike damage. Is equal to the number of fully upgraded passives and upgrades of the Mischievous Mage. Applies Arcane Bond, and adds an AoE to it. Yeah. Doesn't look like the AoE gets any bigger, but still sounds kind of fun. What else do we have? Rift Nova. Let's see. Dealing damage to enemies around you. Chronopuncture. Attack an enemy with a time blade, sealing them in a timeless prison where they endure pain and suffering for 1,000 years and dealing massive 1-to-1 skill damage. And then comes back to this dimension with a traumatized stack. Huh. Attunement Pulse. Let's see, Arcane Breach. Zaps enemies. So this looks to be kind of the summon. And then an orb. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to play around with these. It doesn't seem like any of these skills switch, so it's entirely based on your class. The only thing that changes with your specialization is your, like, primary skill, which actually does come with a lot of passives, which is something to keep in mind. But I don't get those to level 10, and I'm only level 6 at the moment. I could go back to my archer and actually get that to work, but eh. So this character, specifically for a 10% of my Slorm cost, would let me get all of my Slorm back if I want to respec. Useful, and probably better early on, but at the moment, I don't think I care too much, especially because I can just farm that stuff endlessly. Maybe later when you're trying to do, like, big respecs, I could see it being an issue, or being useful. But I'm so early on in this game that I don't think it matters. Oh. I guess I was supposed to talk to this guy. I do have a lot of money. Reinforce an item to increase its stats and effects. So I guess we can use Slorms here. Oh, it's probably this stuff. So I was collecting it anyway. I just didn't realize it. So what else do we have? That's a different dungeon that I haven't been to yet. So I think I'm actually good. I also just noticed this character's running animation is maximum casual. That's amazing. Alright, anyway, with all of that said, I think this is a good stopping point, at least for now. I'm having a good time with Slormancer, but of course I would. This very much is the exact kind of game that I loved as a child, and it's kind of fun to have so many cool indie games picking up the mantle in different ways, and kind of really providing their own takes on the formula. I still would like to play something that plays more like Darksiders Genesis with a little bit more like true action combat. The only one I can think of that comes even remotely close is Victor Vran, and that's about it. But anyway, with all of that said, if you guys like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like, helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new indie games every single day, then hit subscribe because I got tons to show off. But with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.